As they approached the palace grounds, a man, visibly distressed and wounded, sat by the bush. She beseeched the other maidens to come help her, but all she got was, "You are on your own." As Iringe descended the hill, a vibrant land unfolded before her. Lush valleys stretched as far as the eye could see, adorned with flowers that painted the landscape in hues of beautiful colors. The air was filled with the sweet fragrance of flowers, and the distant melody of unseen birds added a symphonic backdrop to the enchanting scene. To Iringe's astonishment, as she looked upon herself, she realized that she had transformed into a strikingly beautiful maiden. Her journey, filled with challenges and mystical encounters, had not only shaped her character, but also manifested in a physical metamorphosis. The realization left her in awe, pondering the mysterious forces that had guided her to this remarkable point. With a sense of wonder, Iringe made her way into the village of Amasoma. It was a market day, and most of the villagers were at the village square. The villagers, busy with their daily activities, seemed to pause and cast admiring glances at the newfound beauty in their midst. Iringe, still grappling with the new changes, felt the eyes of the villagers upon her, their curiosity mirroring her own. As she walked through the streets, the curious gazes of the villagers followed her every step. The routine hum of the village came to an abrupt pause when the resonant sound of a gong echoed through the air. The royal town crier's voice, carrying the weight of authority, pierced through the ambient noise, commanding attention. All the young maidens between the ages of 18 and 23 should assemble at the palace at sunset. The queen has a message for them. The proclamation acted like a spell, momentarily freezing the villagers in their tracks before they resumed their activities. Discussing the mysterious message that had just been delivered, Iringe, feeling like an outsider in the new village, continued to navigate through the marketplace. Amidst the bustling crowd, Iringe approached a woman named Paebo, offering to help her with the day's remaining sales. Paebo, a solitary figure with a kindness that reflected in her eyes, agreed to Iringe's offer. As they worked together, an unspoken connection formed between them. As evening approached, Paebo encouraged Iringe to attend the gathering at the palace, assuring her that it might be an opportunity to learn more about the village and its customs. Iringe hesitated, feeling like an outsider in this new community. However, Paebo's gentle encouragement prevailed, and with a mix of trepidation and curiosity, Iringe decided to heed her newfound friend's advice. As Iringe entered the palace, she found herself in the company of numerous maidens, their ages spanning a diverse range. The air buzzed with a palpable curiosity and nervous anticipation. Whispers circulated among the maidens, each speculating about the nature of the queen's message. Iringe, a newcomer to both the village and its customs, couldn't help but feel a sense of intrigue and trepidation. Suddenly, the atmosphere transformed. The heavy drapes that adorned the entrance rustled as a palace guard strode in, his authoritative voice cutting through the murmurs. Her Majesty, the Queen Mother, and the Crown Prince makes their entrance. As if guided by an invincible force, the maidens instinctively bowed in unison as the Queen Mother and Prince made their regal entrance. The Queen, dignified, entered first, her presence commanding attention. Following closely behind her was Prince Ofembo, the heir to the throne. His arrival brought a hushed silence to the room, punctuated only by the rustle of elegant garments. Prince Ofembo, a figure of commanding presence, exuded an aura of charm and nobility. His features were sculpted with the grace of royalty, chiseled jawline, piercing eyes that mirrored both strength and kindness, and a crown that adorned his head with an effortless elegance. His attire, a blend of tradition and sophistication, spoke of a leader in the making. The maidens, including Iringe, couldn't help but be captivated by the prince's striking demeanor. As the room settled into a respectful silence, the queen addressed the assembly. Her voice, a melodic blend of authority and benevolence, echoed. "Noble maidens of Amasoma, I welcome you to this gathering of great significance. As you know, our beloved king has passed on, leaving the throne to my son, Prince Ofembo. Before his coronation, it is customary for our prince to choose a worthy companion who, together with him, will lead our people with wisdom and compassion." A murmur of understanding and expectation rippled through the assembly. The queen continued. "To find the one who will stand by the prince's side, you will undergo a series of tests. These tests are designed to reveal not only your strengths, but also the virtues that will make you the future queen of Amasoma." The maidens listened attentively. A mixture of excitement, anxiety, and determination etched on their faces. The queen's message carried the weight of tradition and the promise of a future entwined with destiny. Iringe, though unfamiliar with the customs, felt a surge of curiosity and a subtle determination to face the challenges that lay ahead. The journey that brought her to Amasoma had taken an unexpected turn, and now she stood at the threshold of a path that could reshape her destiny. The next day, the grand courtyard of the palace transformed into an arena of trials, as the maidens prepared to face a series of tests that will determine their worthiness to be the queen of Amasoma. The air buzzed with a palpable tension, each maiden steeling herself for the challenges that lay ahead. The first test required the maidens to showcase their wisdom and problem-solving skills. They were presented with complex riddles and dilemmas, requiring astute judgment and clever thinking. Iringe, drawing from the resilience and resourcefulness honed during her journey, navigated through the intellectual maze with ease. Her answers were not only correct, but carried a depth of insight that left the royal judges impressed. The next trial was a physical challenge that tested the maidens' courage and determination. They had to navigate through a treacherous obstacle course, overcoming hurdles that demanded strength and fearlessness. Iringe, drawing on the resilience forged in the hearts of the forest, moved with a grace and fearlessness that defied the expectations of onlookers. Her every step seemed to echo the strength that lay within her. The maidens were again asked to assemble at the village square at the second crow of the cock the next morning. In the pre-dawn stillness, the village square of Amasoma stood silent, awaiting the assembly of the chosen maidens. At the second crow of the rooster, the village square came alive with a subtle air. About 10 maidens, including Iringe, stood in anticipation. As the village awoke to a new day, it became evident that some maidens had faltered in the race against time. A significant number of maidens later appeared, disheveled and breathless, only to be disqualified for failing to assemble on time. Iringe, however, stood among the chosen few, a testament to her unconscious adherence to the decree. Iringe's heart swelled with a sense of accomplishment. With the next challenge unveiled, the remaining 10 maidens, including Iringe, were tasked with cleaning the palace compound. Their journey took them through a bush path, a natural gateway to the regal abode. Yet, unbeknownst to them, another trial awaited on the path to the palace. As they approached the palace grounds, a man, visibly distressed and wounded, sat by the bush, his body bearing the marks of a recent altercation. He cried out for help, his pleas echoing through the stillness of the morning. The maidens, focused on the competition that lay ahead, glanced at the man but walked past, asserting their commitment to reaching the palace on time to avoid being disqualified. Iringe too noticed the suffering man. However, a profound empathy stirred within her, a compassion that transcended the allure of the royal competition. In her heart, she grappled with a moral dilemma: the pursuit of personal glory versus extending a helping hand to a fellow human in need. She beseeched the other maidens to come help her to at least take the man to a healing home, but all she got was, "You are on your own," echoed other maidens as they prioritized the competition over compassion. Yet, Iringe's spirit couldn't ignore the desperate cries of the wounded man. "Of what use will my winning be if this man eventually dies for lack of help and I just watch without helping?" She thought to herself. Iringe, driven by an innate sense of decency, turned back, ignoring the protests of the other maidens who were resolute in their pursuit of the crown. Iringe approached the suffering man. Undeterred by the collective refusal, Iringe summoned her strength and with a compassionate heart managed to lift the wounded man. As they approached the palace, the truth unfolded. This act of empathy was the final test, a test not of physical prowess, but of the depth of compassion within each maiden's heart. The man now revealed himself as a palace official, entrusted with the task of testing the maiden's empathy, stood before the maidens, the palace officials, the queen and the prince, acknowledging Iringe's selfless act. The palace elders, observing the entire scene, were moved by the genuine compassion that had propelled Iringe to forsake her royal aspirations to aid a stranger in need. The atmosphere in the palace compound changed as the onlookers grappled with the unexpected outcome of the test. Iringe, while forfeiting her chance at the throne, had demonstrated a nobility of character that surpassed the superficial allure of royalty. As the queen announced the results, a hush fell over the palace courtyard. Iringe, the unexpected heroine of compassion, stood before the assembly, her humility and kindness casting a unique glow. The gathered crowd marveled at how she had not only passed the tests, but also demonstrated a rare depth of humanity. Impressed by Iringe's character, the queen summoned her to the royal chambers. Behind closed doors, the queen listened intently as Iringe shared her heart-wrenching tale of loss, betrayal, and resilience. The queen's eyes welled with tears, deeply moved by Iringe's story, promised to help her return to Amalaha. That night, Iringe slept in the palace, experiencing comfort and warmth after what seemed like years of hardship. The next morning, accompanied by the queen, Prince Ofembo, and village elders, they set out for Amalaha. As they entered Amalaha, Iringe recognized familiar places and tears welled up in her eyes. Finally, they arrived at Mr. Fubura's house. The villagers, curious and bewildered, gathered in awe as they witnessed the unexpected visitation of royalty to a humble home. Mr. Fubura, accompanied by his wife and children, stepped out, a mix of surprise and confusion written on his face. When Iringe emerged from the chariot, Mr. Fubura and his wife could not recognize the transformed maiden. Iringe ran towards her uncle, knelt before him and called him Papa. The familiarity of her voice triggered recognition, and Mr. Fubura, overwhelmed with emotion, pulled her into a tight embrace. All of a sudden, amidst the celebration, Sekibo collapsed. The shock of seeing Iringe, whom she had cruelly sold out, overwhelmed her. Panic ensued. Efforts were made to revive her, and eventually Sekibo opened her eyes. As she was revived, shame enveloped her as she faced the consequences of her actions. Iringe confronted Sekibo, demanding that she confess her evil deeds. In front of the entire village, Sekibo confessed her sins, recounting the malicious plot she had devised against Iringe. The people of Amalaha recoiled in disappointment. Her children distanced themselves, and Mr. Fubura knelt before Iringe, deeply ashamed of his wife's action. The village erupted in a mix of emotions as the truth unfolded. In the land of Amasoma, Iringe's resilience and compassion triumphed as she married Prince Ofembo and became the Queen of Amasoma. The union brought prosperity and unity to the kingdom. Iringe's benevolence extended beyond the palace walls, touching the lives of the people she now led. Meanwhile, the cruel hand of fate caught up with Sekibo, Mr. Fubura's wife. Consumed by depression and abandonment, Sekibo ran mad. Mr. Fubura, now aged, found unexpected solace in the care of the palace. Moral lesson. The tale of Iringe highlights that compassion, resilience, and kindness are virtues that transcend royalty and titles. Iringe's journey teaches us that true nobility lies in empathy, and the pursuit of personal gain should never eclipse the innate duty to uplift those in need. The consequences of cruelty and betrayal, as witnessed through Sekibo's fate, remind us that the choices we make shape our destinies, and the echoes of our actions ripple through the tapestry of life. In the end, the story whispers that goodness prevails, and in the face of adversity, the purity of the heart becomes the guiding light to a brighter destiny. If you enjoy my story, please make sure to subscribe, not forgetting to hit on the bell notification icon so that when I post another video, you will be the first to know about it. Thank you.